What's good, Ravens flock? It's your boy JG from the Ravens space, and I want to talk about the 3 biggest takeaways that I had from our first preseason game. Football is back.
Let's go.
And I am ready to talk about it, even if it's just the preseason. So guys, let's hop in for the first takeaway right away. It has to be Nate Wiggins. And this was so impressive of a start from our cornerback. It almost outshadows the loss in the other down parts of the other parts of the team, right? In the preseason, you're trying to see what kind of guys got it. Nate Wiggins has it, and he has the tools. That's the thing, the tools to really take him throughout his entire career already. That's the part that's impressive. He has the height and speed combination that's going to make him a dangerous cornerback in this league. We saw it. He was going one-on-one several times in a row with John Ross. And again, when John Ross came into the league, he was one of the fastest players in the league. And he's not slow now, right? He's still fast. Now, he may not be the speed demon he used to be, but he definitely is still fast. So, when we talk about what I saw from Nate Wiggins that made him my biggest takeaway, and I'm sure many of you guys' biggest takeaway, let's first talk about how he can rely on his speed and take away something from the defense. The greatest corners in our league, they have something special about them, and they use it to be able to take the other options away. Jalen Ramsey is bigger and stronger than most receivers he plays, right? So what happens? He says, you can't beat me on short routes, right? Because I'm so big, I'm just going to stand here, and if you try to do a quick slant, that chuck is going to knock your timing off too much, right? And it just won't happen. It just will not happen. Players in the past, as an example, Marcus Peters, who of course we love. Marcus Peters was so good at closing speed that he would often play off, right? And when you get older, that is a problem. But when you're younger, you lead the league in interceptions and touchdowns for a defensive player, right? This is what Nate Wiggins has in his speed. John Ross couldn't beat him over the top. So what that tells me is that what we're going to see all season, and especially in man cover situations, is he's going to rely on his speed. He's going to play tight. He's going to play close. And then if the ball is in the air, turn on those jets and those afterburners to get to where he needs to go. And so I was just extremely impressed by that young man. And I really think that he is going to be the future of the Ravens defense at that cornerback position. And when you take in all the stuff that we have learned from these last 2 years, right? To me, I think Nate Wiggins is a baller, right? I think Brandon Stevens is a baller, right? So right there, I think we have a #1 potential, right? Of course, Nate has to mature and come into his own, right, to be a real true #1. And I know for a fact, based on what I saw last season, that Brandon Stevens is a #2. So then you add all the other pieces around. Is Pepe going to be that dime cornerback or that slot corner? Are we going to see a player like Marlon Humphrey? They've been mentioning him shifting to the slot role. Are we going to see him be an excellent pressure slot cornerback? We might arguably have if Nate Wiggins really matures into that #1 cornerback position. It was extremely impressive all night long. There were some tight calls, right? I think 1 or 2 of them in a regular season may have been called for pass interference, but just overall, an excellent showing from an excellent rookie. And I'm super excited to see how far he goes into the future. The second thing I saw that I think was the most interesting, and I might even say the most impressive, right, is an absence of a player. I thought that the absence of Isaiah Likely spoke volumes to me. I do not believe he's injured. And if I'm wrong, you guys will let me know in the comments. You guys are the best at that. I do not think he was injured. And with that being said, we know Mark isn't going to play. Isaiah not playing tells me we have plans for him to be a major part of our offense, right? He's going to be a major part of the offense, right? That is the music to my ears. When I saw that, I said, okay, not even 1 snap, right? Not even 1 drive, not even to go out and spot duty, right? And there's no other team in the entire National Football League whose #2 tight end isn't playing in the preseason, right? We don't hold that many spots for tight ends on teams, right? This is extremely good to see, That means I am one step closer to achieving the dream of having a 2 tight end offense that really brings so much chaos to other teams. And this is what I saw. That made me so extremely happy. It's a small thing, right? And you really can't comment on it because you don't know what the entire offense is going to look like. But what I do know for sure is that we have the pieces to be awesome, and him not playing shows me that the Ravens see it too, right? He's not just going to be backing up like we have in the past years, right? We knew Isaiah was good, but in the past year, he was still the number 2, and they couldn't get on the field at the same time. I think that might be different this year by him not playing, so I'm excited about that. And then the last one, and the one I'm going to give you guys that is a little iffy, 100%, was the performance of the offensive line. There were times in the offensive line I thought looked really good. That first drive, I believe, or that first quarter, we looked really good running the football. We started passing the football and it got a little messy. But running the football, our people were pushing people, right? You guys know how much I like Pat McCary, right? I think Falele is going to be good. I think he's still a little bit raw, but at the guard position, it's okay to be a little bit more raw in terms of pass blocking, because you have a little bit more help from the center in those situations. What is going to be the driver, though, is how do these pieces gel all together, right? Does Falele or whoever's playing that guard position get better when Tyler Linderbaum gets back? Right now, the question is who is going to step up in that offensive line to really cement themselves along with the other players. When Tyler Linderbaum gets back, do other players get better because he's such a good center that he can make them better and make them hold their own? The truth is, there are several times in that game where I saw the offensive line, especially specifically in the middle, the outside, the tackles, they were a little bit more problems, 100%. But the interior of the offensive line, I thought really did a good job at run blocking, for sure, right? We were getting gaps and we were getting holes, and we were even getting some good chunks every now and then. But the issue was when it came to pass blocking, they were getting beat. They were getting beat one-on-one. I was really nervous about what it showed me for Falele, just because he's so big that he's a little slower, it seemed, in terms of his movement laterally, that I see why he had to get kicked to the inside, because if he was on the outside one-on-one with some of the best pass rushers, that might be a problem. And so that is what I'm kind of looking at and saying, all right, we need someone to step up. Is it going to be Voorhees, right? Is it going to be Falele? Who is it going to be? Because right now, I'm impressed by the way they started, but I am cautious by the way they ended. And of course, it's a preseason game, so things are changing constantly, right? It's not like the same group is out there for the entire set to actually see how the defense is performing. And likewise, the Eagles are not playing their best players. People are coming in and out. So, offensive line is going to be hard because it has to be cohesive, and it's not cohesive in the preseason. But I did see things that I was like, okay, I feel confident in the run blocking from these players, right? And I feel confident when Tyler is back, Ronnie's in there, that it will get better. But the pass blocking I was a little cautious about, but hopefully we wrap it all up. But again, all those things are fine, but we really have to talk about Nate, and because he was the big story from game 1. So that's why he made the number 1 spot. So you guys let me know how you feel. Do you think Nate is going to be the cornerback of the future? Please let me know. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.